Vrindai Tulsi Devi Priyaye Kesavachacha Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavachaya Namo Namaha. Vrindai Tulsi Devi Priyaye Kesavachacha Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavachaya Namo Namaha. Vrindai Tulasi Devi Priyaye Kesavachacha Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyavachaya Namo Namaha. Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Let's offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and who are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchaka
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivigacharya Ashatara Shadashishi Mad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premshika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopika Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Shri Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Shri Mati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Go Ranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 74, Verse 31. Is this okay? You guys can hear me okay? Okay. I pray that I'm able to speak clearly and hopefully that the words a little closer. Okay. Like this? Okay, good. Hopefully the words that I speak resonate and, inspire us all in Shri Shri Radha Golokananda's service. Okay. Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Api Yad Budir Bala Vakyar Vibidhyate Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Apiyad Budir Balavakyar Vibhidyate Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Apiyad Budir Balavakyar Vibhidyate Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Apiyad Budir Balavakyar Vibhidyate. Devotees? Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Apiyad Budir Balavakyar Vibhidyate Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Apiyad Budir Isho Duryatyaya Kala Iti Satyavati Shruti Vidhanam Apiyad Budir Balavakyar Vibhidyate. Okay. Isho, the Supreme Controller. Duratyaya, unavoidable. Kala, time. Iti, thus. Satyavati, truthful. Shruti, the revealed statement of the Vedas. Vidhanam, of elder authorities. Api, even. Yat, since. Buddhi, the intelligence. Bala, of a boy. Vakyai, by the words. Vibhidyate, is diverted. Translation. Shishupal said, the statement of the Vedas that time is the unavoidable controller of all has indeed been proven true, since the intelligence of wise elders has now become diverted by the words of a mere boy. Please repeat. Shishupal said, the statement of the Vedas that time is the unavoidable controller of all has indeed been proven true, since the intelligence of wise elders has now become diverted by the words of a mere boy. So first I'll start off with the commentaries by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami. So this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Here was the intention of Shishupal in speaking after the worship was over instead of speaking before the worship. If I object before the worship and supply many reasons why Krishna is ineligible for the worship, I certainly cannot be defeated in argument. The assembly, hearing my points, will then not worship Krishna and select someone else for the worship who is qualified. Then the sacrifice will proceed properly. But I want to stop the sacrifice, so I will remain silent now. After he is worshipped, I will establish his lack of qualification. It is said that if one worships who is not qualified, then it is a violation for the worshipped person. Where there is such violation, then all auspiciousness is prevented. This is the statement of Scripture. I will then announce that the sacrifice of Yudhisthira is destroyed. Departing with my associates, many kings, learned brahmanas, and his relatives like Duryodhana, and laughing, my desire will be fulfilled. Jiva Goswami, to conciliate the assembly, he first spoke in order to give his own interpretation to Sahadev's words and in order to scold. Time is capable of doing the impossible, Isha, and it is not possible to avoid, Duratyaya. The Vedas or tradition speaks the truth. Why? Something astonishing has happened. Because of time, the intelligence of elders has been diverted by a child's words. So in this verse, the biggest part that stuck out to me was the part where Shishupal says, the statement of the Vedas is that time is the unavoidable controller of all. As we know, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna represents himself as time, as well as other factors of the universal form. And in chapter 11, verse 32, Krishna says, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." And the purport to that verse states, although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmanas. Eventually, all Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is the all-devouring giant. And here, Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring time. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present on that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that was his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. So as it says in this purport, death cannot be checked, and time is destruction. And within our own Krishna consciousness and just within our lives, the one guarantee we have is that, is our ultimate destruction of the earth, ultimate destruction of ourselves, of our loved ones, our relatives, the people around us. And that is one of those things that when you talk about it and think about it, really, it's like scary, but generally speaking, we're not thinking about it. It's said that that's one of the things that we know happens to everyone. Like, we know everyone dies, we know everyone's gonna get sick, but for some reason, we all just go around in life thinking it's not gonna happen to us. I remember when I was in high school, and a friend of mine died of a heart attack 2 years after graduating from high school. And I remember being so shocked because I was thinking, heart attacks are for older people, Like, death in that way is reserved for old people. I was not thinking, at all that could be something that would happen to one of my peers. But death in any way, shape, or form is going to happen to all of us. That is the one guarantee. And when we have that guarantee, we need to keep that in mind when we're practicing Krishna consciousness, because it'll guide our steps and also give us a sense of urgency. When time is the unavoidable controller of all, that means we have to use our time really wisely within our lives, within our Krishna consciousness. We can't take Krishna consciousness lightly. We can just think about the fact that we're even devotees. Like, that is just an amazing amount of good fortune. And the fact that we came across devotees is really special. And that's not a good fortune that everyone gets to share. And when we're looking at our lives as devotees in chronological order, first, you come across devotees, and then at some point you make the choice to become a devotee yourself. And then usually after you've made that choice, at some point in your spiritual life, you may have the desire to share Krishna consciousness with others. This is just, kind of from what I've understood and from what I've seen, the chronological lifespan of a devotee. It's so easy when we're in Krishna consciousness to be a bit lackadaisical. I know that's definitely something I've experienced, and I've witnessed it in others as well. And it's so easy to fall into that trap. Prabhupada says that, us young boys and girls were not enough afraid of Maya. And that is definitely something that I've experienced in my spiritual life, and especially right here, right now. I'll be vulnerable and I'll speak honestly. I live here at the temple, and you would think that since I'm literally within walking distance from the temple, I'd be at Mangalarti every single day, without fail. I'd be here at every single program, but sometimes I'm not using my time wisely. The fact that death is my one guarantee is not at all in my mind, and I'm not thinking about, my future within Krishna consciousness. I'm maybe just thinking about that moment right then and there. But Krishna as time, that is one of his forms that is the hardest to conceptualize, the hardest to realize. So with myself, I'm just giving myself grace and understanding that, Krishna will reveal to me and show me time and time again how important it is to take advantage of the time I have here at the temple and the time I have within Krishna consciousness. Because, it's not something that we can take lightly. In all through the Gita, Krishna reveals himself as times. In chapter 10, verse 20, he says, "I'm the beginning, the middle, and end of all things." In chapter 10, verse 30, he says, "Of subduers, I am time." And in chapter 10, verse 33, he says, "I am inexhaustible time." So with this emphasis on time, it's so clear that the time we have within Krishna consciousness is really important, but understanding Krishna as time is really important as well. And with the Rajasuya sacrifice, Shishupal said that he wanted to object from the worship after it started, because he knew that if he did it before, the assembly would hear his points and he would win the argument. And he's saying that, speaking as if he's like a very learned, philosophical scholar, and he's saying that time being the unavoidable controller, it's been proven true because the intelligence of wise elders has now become diverted by the words of a mere boy. In the same way that something amazing and astonishing, such as a young boy swaying the entire consensus of wise elders, is just like absolutely mind-blowing, time is also mind-blowing in that same way. We don't have a true conception of how much time we have left, and we don't have a true conception of how useful the time we have is and how we should use it. Because I think if we just look at our days in general, like, to be Krishna conscious is to think of Krishna always, not just the first few hours of the day when you're doing your morning sadhana, or maybe the last few hours of the day when you're going to an evening program, but to think of Krishna at all times, at all moments, and to understand how is it that we're serving him in every single way. I guess I could even ask just anyone here, is that something that you think about in your daily life? Like, what does that look like for you to utilize your time wisely within Krishna consciousness? So I guess that's like some audience interaction right now. But what does that look like to utilize your time in Krishna consciousness and remember Krishna all the time, not just, some of the time in the morning or in the evening? If anyone would like to share. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money. If you translate that into my currency, that's a $500,000 rand.
Mm-hmm.
That is Indian money, you could build a whole temple like this with a one car.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to live in that moment. So all my days spent on working, and that work is my service to Krishna. While I'm working, it's my day. I approve people's finance deals to my farms. That's my job. And when I'm doing it, I'm actually cognizant of it. I'm thanking Krishna when I'm charging a customer. I'm like, thank you, Krishna. Let there be another 10 more customers like this today. This is my service. This is how I'm utilizing myself. And let me be the one. Like, please. I don't want to be frequenting.
Mm-hmm.
No, somebody else can do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do that, please go ahead. You go and be without anything. But I constantly meditate on him throughout the day. And when I can come, then I do. And I'm tired right now because I have a full day of work. But I think it's really nice that us younger people do promote this sort of like forward direction of thinking. It's like simple things. Like I hear some of the congregation in the hall downstairs, all of them have fidelity accounts. And troubles are talking to each other saying, oh, I got this fidelity, I'm putting money in there. That's gambling. Fidelity is gambling.
Yeah. He's answering a question.
I'm answering it. So, but how I'm using my time, that's when I'm using my time. That's my
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I feel like you touched on a couple of other really good points. One, being honest about where we are in Krishna consciousness, because, you're acknowledging that you want to live in abundance. You want to have, a good material life. And a lot of devotees may want to shun themselves from that or like shy away from that. But it's better to just be honest with yourself and, let Krishna know the desires that are in your heart, because he already knows what's in your heart. So it's better just to be honest. And like you said, when you're using your time, I think also too, another aspect of time that you touched upon was, when we think about time, place, and circumstance. So it's one thing to think about time within Krishna consciousness and think about how we're utilizing our time as individuals. But another really important point in regards to sharing Krishna consciousness especially is understanding the time that we are in right now. So a lot of people may want to, I'm saying a lot of people, but this isn't necessarily like across the board, but everyone has a different understanding and a different approach to sharing Krishna consciousness. And some people may choose to share it with methods that worked when Prabhupada was on the planet, in the 60s and 70s. And some people may want to use methods that they believe were used even earlier. Or maybe some people might want to be innovative and come up with methods that they think will be used in the future. And ultimately, as long as someone's understanding the time, place, and circumstance, then hopefully their, endeavors with sharing Krishna consciousness will be successful. But that is something else that's really important when we're thinking about Krishna as time, and we're thinking about time within our own spiritual lives. We're not only thinking, how can I make myself Krishna conscious? We're thinking, how can I utilize the times that we're in to share Krishna consciousness with others? Because we're right now in this time in life when people are looking to religious leaders for answers. People are looking to religious leaders, and instead of sometimes, like, what they're looking for, authenticity, not hypocrisy. Because, there's war, there's inflation, there's genocide, there's famine, there's so many things happening right now. And this is the best time to really get in touch with our own Krishna consciousness so that we can understand how to help the world around us. And that's something that, would even be seen with, like, within the Vedas, but like saving the kings, like that's something that, well, actually, that's not really an important point, but it is so important that we utilize our time wisely within Krishna consciousness and make it so that we're able to share Krishna consciousness effectively because of that. Another thing that is really important, and when we're thinking about how to utilize our time, another aspect of that is understanding our why within Krishna consciousness. We all have a reason why we're here. Of course, we're here by the mercy of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. And then beyond that, what is the reason why we stay? What is the reason why we get up every morning and chant our rounds and associate with devotees? Like, what is the reason behind this? Because, of course, on one hand, we don't want to, become like Niyamagraha and kind of just be going through the motions. But it also helps, too, to understand your why, because, once again, going back to the idea of sharing Krishna consciousness and also the idea of just becoming stronger within your own sadhana, if you have a strong why, then the time that you utilize is more effective. Because you can have two people doing the exact same thing, and maybe one person does it for longer even, but they don't have a strong why. They don't have a strong reason, they don't have a strong purpose, and so their output may not be as effective. It's more quantity over quality. Whereas if you have a strong why, your time in Krishna consciousness can be very, very impactful on yourself and on others. We can look at the life of Jayananda Prabhu, who is a saint within Krishna consciousness. He was not physically on this planet for a long time, but he had such a strong why. He had such a strong purpose. He was so passionate about sharing Krishna consciousness with all types of people from all walks of life. He was so passionate about the Rath Yatra cart and making sure that Krishna consciousness was shared in that way. And even until the end of his days, you know, he was working on serving Srila Prabhupada's movement. He is an example of someone who we can look to who is using their time in Krishna consciousness very wisely and is also using it in a way that's very impactful because he has a strong why. So I think that, you know, when we look at ourselves, it's also easy to, you know, look at saints like Jayananda and kind of be like, oh man, like I can never live up to that. That's like such a high standard. But your life doesn't have to look the same way as someone else. You don't have to express your service in the same way as someone else. We can take Keshava Prabhu as an example, you know, financing cars, that can be your service to Krishna. How can you find Krishna in that? How can you find a strong why to connecting to Krishna? And how can you find where all of your daily activities bring you closer to Krishna instead of, you know, further? So I think that's like another, one of the points that I wanted to make was that with, you know, time as the unavoidable controller of all and the absolute destruction of us being the one guarantee, it's important that we have a strong why in Krishna consciousness, that we are aware of how we're using our time, and we use our time to the best of our ability, use it wisely, and are aware of the times that we're living in so that we can share Krishna consciousness as effectively as possible. Does anyone have any like comments or questions or concerns or anything before I continue? Yeah, sure, sorry.
Thanks, Keshava, for sharing. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. It's all about Krishna and how merciful he is to us. He's come to us with the holy name. And I don't think Krishna cares one way or another what we do here as long as we remember him. And we're all full of faults. And the longer I live, the more I realize that I'm just simply unqualified. So in the short time that we have, no matter what we do, we just have to focus on one thing, Krishna's mercy. And how does Krishna give us the mercy? He gives us the mercy through the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we should be chanting as much as we can. He gives us the mercy by letting us hear about his glories. And he gives us his mercy by allowing us to become absorbed in the sound vibration of a kirtan, also by taking prasadam. So let's just do what we do. At least I can say that I'm a resident of a highly, quote, advanced industrialized society, where I'm used to things like hot water and cars and things like that. But that's not what really matters. What matters is, do we remember Krishna, and do we understand how Krishna has come to us to save us from this? Because it's all over. I mean, we're all, in one sense, we're on the Titanic, and on the Titanic, when it was sinking, there was a band that played to the very end. Now, you could have sat there and enjoyed the music and gone down with the ship. Or you could have listened to the music and said, that's nice, but I got something else to do in my life. So let's realize we have something really important to do with our life. And of course, we'll share that as we become more and more convinced, but zillions of things we can do in this life. It's all okay, whatever it is. I mean, except being, a butcher or something like that. But it's the remembrance of Krishna and remembrance of his mercy to us. I mean, that's what we see here in this story. What makes King Yudhisthira, even though he's a king, exalted, was not the fact that he was rich, was the fact that even though he was rich, he put his head at Krishna's feet. That's what it's all about. Anyway, it's my 2 cents. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. The thing is, this is very clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita itself. Krishna has explained. Like in 8th chapter, if you go through, he says what death is about. Antakale chameva samaran mukta kalevaram sa prayati matsad bhavam yati atrna shansya. At the time of death, who remembers me, exclusively me, and that person will come to me. So your whole effort is to remember Krishna all the time. And Krishna doesn't care, like Prabhuji said, that whatever work you have been assigned, you are doing. And you should do that in a way that you are still remembering Krishna all the time, even at your work. So it's not that, okay, I'm comfortable, it's okay. You have to show your bhav. Krishna is interested in how dedicated you are in remembering him, Now, like if you look at this king now, who was going to meet, wanting to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went down, he was cleaning in front of the cart. He was a king. He could have enjoyed whatever he was doing. But that was his service mood, So he was trying to please Krishna, So that's what the whole motive is. No matter what service you are in, you have to please Krishna. How do you please Krishna? By doing a devotional service. Devotional service, if I do some seva to you, you're pleased. So anyone, if whatever you do if you come to a temple, you do some service, you have to remember Krishna all the time, not only at work, all the time. So that should be our motive and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita here, therefore Arjuna, you should always think of me in form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting in that case. But in your case, whatever accounting you are doing, that's your duty. Do it sincerely and do it to the perfect knowledge what you have gained and dedicate it to Krishna, that all my activities, what I've done today, I offer it to you, either through mind or through your, whatever your earnings, giving some of it to Krishna itself. So basically, all you have to do is to develop that kind of, love for Krishna. And Krishna is looking for love, nothing else. He's not looking for our money or any other things or your opulence. He is not worried that, you're living opulent. He doesn't care. All he cares is the love, how you can show it. So even working and being comfortable, it's okay. But as long as you remember Krishna, so that should be the goal of your life. Or, I shouldn't be saying that, our own lives. That's what we have to aspire to. And we struggle, it's easy said and preached. But still, to remember Krishna all the time, it's a struggle. Even in spite of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, still, it's difficult. So we should aspire time and again. That's where we are. I talk too much here.
One last thing, the point that you made up about how time evolves and the systems we used once, you can revert to an older one or you could go to a forward one, but yeah, time itself is treading along, but the type of time is changing. The mentality of the people in that time is changing. Our thought frame now is not the same as youth in the 60s or youth in the 80s. The youth of 2026 have a different mindset. They're still in time, they're still evolving, but it's completely changed. So the method to approach them, to share this gospel of God, this Krishna consciousness, it's got to change too. the core can be the same, but in order to get one to open their ears so it sinks in, it's got to evolve. But like Prabhu was saying, Yudhishthir Maharaj is the king. He's putting his head down. Yeah, we should all aspire to be kings and put our heads down so the Lord can step on it, so we live in that abundance. And not also think of Krishna consciousness as a barter system where we got to constantly work for these stages of devotion. I do, then I get. I do and I get. No, that's materialistic. God doesn't work like that. We should approach Krishna as he is just going to love us no matter what. Even if I don't make a lot of progress, he's going to love me unconditionally. His love for me is beyond anything we can fathom. That's Krishna's love. Like, it's everywhere, and it's for everyone. We know of stories of some people hearing his holy name once and getting liberation. They didn't put in any work. But yeah, I'm excited about the next chapter and excited to see what you do. Thanks for giving us class today.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone's points. I appreciate what you said, Drishta Prabhu, about, remembering that it's Krishna's mercy that we're here, and that's what we hold on to. So just remember to stay one-pointed within our Krishna consciousness, and that's utilizing our time wisely, is if we just remember Krishna and chant always. Hare Krishna.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anganiyasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Kripa bindu dia koroe dase trina pekka atihina sakala sahane baladia koro nijamane spriya hina sakala sahane baladia koro nijamane spriya hina Guru Dev sakale samana korite sakati deho nata jata jata Guru Dev sakale samana korite sakati deho nata jata jata tabeto gaibo harinamasuke aparada habe hata tabeto gaibo harinamasuke aparada habe hata Guru Dev Kabehena kripa labea ejana kritarta hoibe nata Guru Dev Kabehena kripa labea ejana kritarta hoibe nata Shakti Buddhihina Amiyati Dina Goro More Atma Sata Shakti Buddhihina Ati Dina Goro More Atma Sata Guru Dev Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna sara Guru Dev Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna sara Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya prana narakibo ara 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 Guru Dev Kripa bindu diya say Guru Dev Kripa bindu diya Koroe dase Trina pekka atihina Guru Dev Kripa bindu diya Koroe dase Trina pekka atihina Sakala sahane baladio koro nijamani spriyahina Sakala sahane koro nijamani spriyahina Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Jaya Radha, Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Radha, Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radha, Jaya Radha, Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Radha, Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radha, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya 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 Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. Guru Dev, give this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. Guru Dev, I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. Guru Dev, when will such mercy fall to the one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you, Guru Dev. If you examine me, you will find no good qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Chaitodarpanam marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreyakairavya chandrika vitaranam Anandam buddhi vardhanam Patipanam pranamrita swadanam Sarvatma snapanam Param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam Nam namakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis Tatra pitani amita smaranena kala Etadrishika bhagavan mamapi Durdaiva midrishami ajani nanuraga. Nada pisu nichena, tarora pisu hishuna, amani nama. Thank you. Kirta. Sadahari nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadishakamaye mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir ahoitaki tvai nanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau kripayata vabada pankaja stita duli sajashim vachintaya Nayanam Gadarshu Daraya Varanam Gadgaru Dayagira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Badamritam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahatakarotuva Yatatava vidadatu lampato mat pranatastu sa eva napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It enables us to fully taste, and enables us to taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know